NATO is infinitely stronger, more strong than Russia will ever be. I mean, Russia is not bigger than the economy of Texas, of course, with a nuclear deterrent. So in that sense, it's more than Texas, but it is not bigger than the combined economies of the Dutch and the Belgian.
Their number one target will be the Woulda manufacturing center for Shahed missiles, built by Ukraine. 20,000 North Koreans are there at that manufacturing center, Brett. It's out of the range of everything they have right now. That'll be target one, but they'll all be military targets. Ukraine is not going to target civilian targets.
Trump give Tomahawks to Ukraine?
We always said as the Netherlands that we are supporting deep strike operations by Ukraine, that there is no limit or no boundary to this in terms of kilometers, also no limit when it comes to the type of missiles. It's up to the US to decide, but if the United States decides to provide Tomahawk missiles, we will definitely support that.
Керівництво компанії Energy творить справжнє беззаконня.
Well, hello, that's me again. Today is October 15th, 2025. It is Wednesday, and pretty much what you see in the beginning doesn't require any kind of the responses or comments. And except for the fact that, as I am on record now, that American generals, especially retired ones who have been formed by their losses everywhere, because they are not really competent militarily people, is that yeah, I mean, they don't know what war is. The only thing they know is how to push the button, launch something somewhere. In terms of operations and things like that, it's at extremely low level, intellectually and experience-wise. United States Army and US in general knows only how to lose wars. And this is the cold, hard fact which cannot be denied anymore. You cannot sit there and beat around the bush and say, oh yeah, you know, I already stated. My corporate solidarity with the United States military have been lost in the last half a year, especially after the cleanup of Kursk have been finished, when I recognize that these people, they have no clue what they're doing, and again, they don't care about human life. They just, you know what, in many respects, that it's a cowardice. Obviously, the United States will not be able to fight Russia conventionally, and that's the whole point. This is what has to be repeated constantly and reiterated, that in the end, the issue with the situation with, for example, all those Tomahawks and escalation that people say is that that's it. United States has nothing left. It's simple as that, and I will explain to you why this is so. And that's the danger. United States doesn't know how to lose. It doesn't know how to lose honorably, which is probably the typical, you know, what state of the affairs in terms of morality and integrity on the Capitol Hill and elsewhere in Washington D.C. There is no honor there or anything. They just basically thieves and all kinds of people, which are, you know what, you cannot even discuss this anymore without cringe. And so, but let's take a look at something which is critical here in terms of this panic about it. And I'm not gonna be naming people who just continue to talk about it. Obviously, MK-41s, which are called Typhoons, are not gonna be given to Ukraine. But yeah, there is a new, you know what, panic. It's like, oh my God, on the Shkosh reveals XMAF next generation mobile Tomahawk launcher. It's today's article from the Defense News or whatever the hell, one of those, you know, masturbatory things which they have. And here it is. It's actually mock-up, realistically. It's and again, the critical thing here is to reveals a next generation. Reveals next generation. And so what is this? It's just the launcher, mobile launcher of Tomahawks. United States used to have those things. It was called Griffon in 1980s. And here today, obviously, it's 2025, and it's completely different state. And so the new mobile Tomahawk cruise missile launcher showcased at the AUSA 2025 Defense Expo could eventually strengthen Ukraine's deep strike potential. Not really, but again, could, shoulda, woulda, and it's not a real weapon. It's not obviously even in IOC, and nobody knows how many of them have been produced. There's nothing new in this weapon. It's just mobile launcher, period. Nothing really special. And so they continue to do this hysteria with this. Oh my God, the XMAV forms part of the US Army Common Autonomous Multi-Domain Launcher. Heavy, oh good Lord, I mean, some people who invent those abbreviations in Pentagon, they probably have the general ranks. And so this is initiative. Yeah, they also find this initiative that you can turn some kind of the chassis or whatever the truck on which those launchers are into, well, basically drone. It's just, remotely controlled, and so that's the general trend in many respects. So nothing new here. Then they say that concepts and visions a next generation ground launcher with self-contained control architecture on board power. Here is immediately, this is it's basically, she blinded me with science. So it's basically, she blinded me with BS. That's what it is. All launchers, be them Bastion type launchers for Russian Onyx and Zircon, or launchers for the Iskander missiles, or any kind of other launchers, they are self-contained control architecture. They operate completely autonomously. They can obviously have the communications. They have the ability to receive the targeting or retarget things, but they're completely self-controlled. They do the geodesical, what is called tie-in, topographic tie-in. They have the very good ability to provide the initial coordinates for all kinds of launchers, because you have to have them. And so, as you can see yourself, they present just basic average facts as some kind of the, oh yeah, look at this, how tough we are. No, it is not. And again, look at this thing. It's crude device, and that's basically the desperate attempt to put together some kind of the weapon which nobody knows actually when, how, and how many it will be there. So, and they talk about that this rollout reflects the US focus on building agile and resilient strike capabilities, a development that has drawn the attention of European militaries and Kyiv strategic community. Kyiv strategic community is primarily PR community. The militarily, they are basically nothing more than the butchers, and the only thing they want is to launch something. So when you listen to people like Keane or any other American general, they are desperate. They're losers. The only thing they know, they cannot even pronounce the proper names such as Yelabuga, and continue to spread all kinds of BS, and that's what they do. They do not have education. None of them is adapted to the modern war of the 21st century, and they wouldn't know anything about it, because most of those people, they don't have real serious engineering background, let alone the background which they have to keep in mind in terms of the air defense. And here is the issue. When people say that this escalation and they send the Tomahawks and what have you, they can escalate. What is going to do? How is it going to change anything in special military operation? It's not going to change anything. And that's the whole problem. And Mr. Kartapolov, that's unlike Mr. Keane. Mr. Kartapolov has glorious record of the successful military operations. We'll talk about this. Mr. Kartapolov is pretty much, he's a general, and as I already stated, unlike Keane, for example, he knows how to fight a modern war, and he commanded basically operations which Keane can only dream about. And so Russia will destroy Tomahawk missiles and their launchers if US gives them to Ukraine. Senior lawmaker says he is obviously at the Security Committee now, and Russia will shoot down Tomahawk cruise missiles and bomb their launch sites if the United States decides to supply them to Ukraine and find a way to retaliate against Washington. That hurts, a senior Russian lawmaker said on Wednesday. Our response will be tough, ambiguous, measured, and asymmetrical. We will find the ways to hurt those who cause us trouble, Andrei Kartapolov, head of the Russian Parliament Defense Committee, told the State RIA News Agency. Kartapolov, a former deputy defense minister, said he did not think Tomahawks would change anything on the battlefield, even if they were supplied to Ukraine. As he said, they could only be given in small numbers, in tens rather than hundreds. And here is the issue. Even if they are given in hundreds, if you go to my blog, you will see yourself that I explain to people, for example, like Keane, or any other American general who have no clue about air defense. The United States simply doesn't have serious air defense community. That essentially that you have to understand that the model of the air defense battle is rather simple if you consider the fact that, for example, Vladimir Putin has been on record, I mean, number of times that, not only him actually, that the Russian air defense effectiveness is hovering between 95 to 97%, which is, I mean, astonishing number. It's unprecedented historically. And yeah, those pinpricks, yeah, if Mr. Keane, for example, or whoever, this imbecile from Netherlands, their defense minister, think that you can damage something, well, you can damage, obviously, things, but any kind of serious industrial facility, in order for you to wipe it out, you need something like a Reshnik, or you will have to have leakers. The leaker is obviously the missile which gets through. You will have to have something like Tanica, let's say Tanica refinery, which is on the diagonal, is more than 10 kilometers. You will need probably 100 Tomahawks. So in order for you to get that, you need to have essentially, well, maybe a couple thousand at least. And considering the fact that the Block 5 and Block 4, which are being retired, and you cannot explain also to people that all those numbers you get from Wikipedia is complete garbage, that United States and Arsenal, and I'm talking about the people who are in the know and who are serious military professionals with an extraordinary service record, and of course academics, they said that, yeah, probably we're looking at about altogether 3,000 of the Tomahawks, and even that is not the confirmed number. And if you go to, so probably we're looking at 2,500 maybe at best, and they are being retired. And here is American Enterprise Institute. This is actually Neocon Central, War, Chicken Hawk Central. US military nowadays doesn't have anybody but chicken hawks. And so, as you can see yourself, American Enterprise Institute gives you that numbers. They give you 2025 is the same as 2024, and you can see yourself, as they call it, that Navy lackluster Tomahawk procurement does not offset expenditure rates. Well, and considering the fact that the United States doesn't expend that many of them, you can see yourself, these are pathetic levels of production in 2024. It wasn't Navy, who is the main carrier. All the main platforms for the launch of Tomahawks are in the US Navy, be them obviously destroyers of the Arleigh Burke class, Ticonderoga class cruisers. Obviously, we're talking about the Virginia class submarines and 4 converted to high class submarines. So, and yeah, look at this. I mean, first, the numbers are pathetic, honestly, when you consider the fact that I already expressed the numbers, and this always is about numbers, that Russians produce on the order of, well, several thousand a year. In general, even if you consider just 3 M14 caliber variations, which are the analog sort of, it's much more advanced and really a modern missile, which is tactical, land attack missile. well, Russians produce in months more than United States produced in the year 2015. This is more than 250 a month. So, and this is just Tomahawk, I mean, pardon me, not Tomahawk, but caliber missile. So when you look at this, I mean, okay, go impress me, you know. So, and yeah, they will try. That's pretty much pinpricks. They might score some PR things. And this is what they do. I mean, they have only PR victories, so to speak, quote unquote. They're not victories. They need some picture and show it around the world. Oh, look at this, how cool we are. Well, you're not cool, and that's the problem. And obviously, you have to explain it to Mr. Trump, who, I mean, the guy is just purging hot air to the left and to the right non-stop. While in reality, obviously, when you look attentively at the same Mr. Rutte, well, yeah, he believes that, yeah, the Russian economy is smaller than the economy in Texas. You cannot explain to those people because they believe it. That's why they are dangerous. And that's why you need to handle them with care, because they are imbeciles. And so now we have Mr. Hexet, and we have this, oh my God, good Lord. First, Washington Post yesterday reported, of course, NATO seeks more arms for Ukraine as Western support fades and the light airspace concern mounts. So, and yeah, it already happened. I will discuss it with you right now, but look at this, what they write yesterday. NATO defense ministers will meet on Wednesday. You already saw the greeting from Netherlands to try to drum up more military support for Ukraine amid a sharp drop in deliveries of weapons and ammunition to the war-ravaged country in recent months. Oh no, what did happen, guys? What had happened in this situation? Why there is a sharp drop in deliveries? Well, Washington Post continues to explain things. Obviously, they always lie, they misrepresent facts, but even they cannot deny the fact that military support for Ukraine is dwindling. The fall occurred even after European allies began buying American weapons for Ukraine under a financial arrangement known as the Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List, PEARL. Good Lord, those people probably get promoted for inventing this crap, actually, but yeah, it's PEARL now. The United States does not donate any equipment to Ukraine either through the scheme or bilaterally. Denmark and Netherlands, Norway and Sweden have been buying US weapons to send to Ukraine, but Italy and Spain, among other members of the 32-nation alliance, are sending very little compared to these NATO partners. Well, the reason they say send very little, because Europe, a European part of NATO, are paupers. Technologically, they are backward. And basically, United States has nothing to offer. That's the problem. That's what many people still cannot understand. That, yeah, when you talk to Trump or you talk to any Hexet, for example, those people don't understand what modern war is. They do not believe in numbers. They do not believe in anything. They know only how to come up and present this idiotic show in Quantica. When was it? I mean, a couple of weeks ago. So, and as you can see yourself now, so Hexet, oh my God, oh, Hexet, yeah, just coming out today and swinging. Look at this, yeah. Hexet urges allies to boost spending on US weapons for Kiev. And yeah, so he begins to continue. He continues to with those platitudes like, "You get peace when you are strong, not when you use strong words or wag your fingers." Well, that's the only thing actually NATO militaries are capable of. To get, including the United States military, they are paper tigers, are not designed for the modern war, and all those desperate attempts to patch up, so to speak, their sinking ship, it's not going to help much. And so he says that. Use strong and real capabilities that adversaries respect. As I already stated, Russians do not respect Tomahawk capabilities, nor do they respect any kind of other capabilities, which, of course, that's the point of the very serious psychological and, if you wish, historic, how to say, butthurt in the United States, in NATO, because obviously everything was supposed to go as they planned, and we know the quality of the planners in NATO. It's not good, to put it mildly, and so. Then what do you have? it's like this, as I constantly use this analogy, it's like this rowdy, a nut job, asylum candidate who is being, handled by orderlies trying to get him into this, tight short, so to speak, and restraining him. And he just speeds and tries to scratch things, but can do nothing more than that. It's really difficult to explain to people. This is how actually it is for today. And just to demonstrate to you, nothing more than PR and hot air. It doesn't mean, again, make no mistake, when I say, and I use this arquebus analogy constantly, anything could be dangerous. Even whatever they have now, precision strike missile. Oh my God, 500 kilometers. We stick it into the same M270, chassis and launch it somewhere. Yeah, anything could be dangerous. Arquebus could be dangerous. You can kill people with the 16th century arquebus. That means the weapon. You have to treat it obviously with certain respect. But when we look at the actually operational level, and this is what US Army doesn't know. All those people who went through operations, they usually try to get some basic, mathematical approach to it, while obviously they will not be able to really go toe-to-toe with the planners in the, for example, main operational directorate of the Russian General Staff. Those people, they have PhDs, and they have PhDs not only in military science, they have PhDs in engineering, math, all kinds of things of this nature. And so when you try to explain to them, look at the overall situation. What's left? What's left is the hot air and PR, just to demonstrate to you. They lie now openly because obviously this is not the way it works. And again, I am on the record now, you can quote me, NATO air defense community is pathetic, really. I mean, and there is a reason why it is pathetic, because you can thank the American infatuation with the air power, and primarily when we talk about air power against such mighty countries as Iraq, But even in Vietnam, United States lost 10,000 of the aircraft. 2,500 of them have been lost, which are fixed-wing aircraft due to the operations of the Vietnamese Air Force, and also more than 850 have been shot down by Russian surface-to-air missiles. So, I mean, if they think that this is great representation of the air power, just apart from bombing the crap out of the Vietnam and killing 3 million civilians there, well, maybe. But the point is, we're talking about serious war, and those, you can hear this basically squealing from the swamps, all over the place. This is Bob Hurt, and so here it is. Now we have this Boeing back at the 3 seeker. It is just astounding. They talk about the missiles for the MIM-104, whatever the hell the name of those missiles, that multi-layer contract for PAC-3 seeker production. It's Boeing, and look what they talk about. Boeing built PAC-3 seeker enable Patriot interceptors to identify, track, and defeat advanced threats, including hypersonic threats. That's a lie, okay? Fact is, no missile in the American arsenal can intercept anything, even supersonic, let alone the hypersonic missiles. But you know what? These are buzzwords. They need to sell this BS to all kinds of the hoi polloi and average Joes, essentially, who will believe that, oh my God, we're so cool, we're tough, look at Hollywood. In reality, it's just lie. And it's not because only of the seeker, it's because you do not have kinetic capability to do that. In essentially all those missiles, from this MIM-104, whatever the hell the name of that missile, I don't remember those abbreviations, to even SM-6, which operate from the board, from Mk-41s in the US Navy, and which is considered the best missile, at least in the US arsenal. It's Mach 3.5. They do not have energy to stop any maneuvering hypersonic missile. They will have difficulty to stopping even a couple of the older P-700 Granite missile, let alone the salvo. But yeah, they tell you that this seeker somehow evidently can enhance lack of the kinetic capabilities of those missiles. And so yeah, they can shoot down hostile aircraft, some ballistic maybe, and cruise missiles. Yeah, they can get lucky and sometimes shoot down the subsonic cruise missiles. But hypersonic threats, what the hell are they talking about? But no, it's fine. We got this contract and it's seeker. It's not even just because obviously any kind of missile and air defense complex are called complex, or they are called system, which means what? It's a combination of the constituent parts which operate as a whole, which operate as the system. So if they think that the seeker somehow may enhance what never was there to start with, any kind of kinetic capability, I don't know how else to explain to you. It's all garbage. They pour this on you non-stop, and as I already stated, I can only subscribe to Mr. Kartapolov, and you know what, yeah, they will be shut down. Yeah, they can dream about whatever they want, and now Financial Times says that, oh yeah, they can only supply between 20 to 50 missiles. Seriously, yeah, they may try to, again, do whatever they are obsessed with their Crimean Bridge, but then again, if you look at civilian NATO militaries, they are good only at trying to kill civilian targets. Fighting real war, they are not designed to do that. They do not have training. Officer corps of NATO is pathetic, really. And I am on the record now, and anybody wants to debate me on that, sure, let's debate. But the problem is that it's extremely low educational and professional level of the officer corps in NATO, and they do not understand what they are dealing with, and like Kiev, and they think that launching some 10 or 20 Tomahawks, with most of which will be shot down, if not all of them, somehow going to change anything. It's not. And so just to demonstrate to you what is happening basically elsewhere on the special military operation, here it is. This is the tally. As you can see yourself, this is today's tally. Oh yeah, there is an uptick in, it's average 1,500 a day. And again, these are not killed and wounded. These are mostly killed. And yes, some people whom I know and my friends know and who are in the serious position, for example, dealing with the Konstantinovka and Kliban-Byk, which was actually wrapped up, as they said, the question was, how many did you kill there? And say, you know what, we still continue counting, so thousands, and so they don't even know the number because they wiped out the 4 brigades there. But you cannot explain again this to, average Pentagon general, because they have no concept, they don't have reference points of this, because they are extremely sensitive to own losses, casualties, and yeah, they just don't know how to fight modern war. And so if you take a look intensively at what is happening in Krasnoarmeysk, which is Pokrovsk, you see, this is what is happening. So they are going to be surrounded probably already, as I already stated. It's yesterday's work by Mr. Khairulin and Mr. Popov. But yeah, it's active front, active everywhere. And if you take a look at this video, yeah, you can see so the Alexeyevka have been liberated today. So, and it continues. So why this all continues, we have to keep in mind that obviously there is a really serious issue with the, let's put it this way, understanding geopolitics as it applied geopolitics, not some kind of idealistic moralizing thing. No. Geopolitics is done with the cold heart and cold mind, if you wish. And many people do not understand that while Russia still retains today a degree which is from Soviet Union also, supporting people who are friendly to Russia and obviously not anywhere near on the scale of what Soviet Union was doing, and then underwriting all kinds, for example, African governments which were popping up, and they would go and say, oh yeah, we're socialist, give us weapons, and Soviet Union will give them weapons. No. Russians operate today absolutely different different mode. For example, if you take a look at the African Command of Russia, which is headed by Mr. Surovikin, which basically kicked out all those foreign, especially French militaries there in Sahel. Oh, there are all kinds of other situations happening there, and I can rephrase famous, well, was it Palmerston? Maybe Palmerston who stated it about England, that England doesn't, you know, Great Britain as an empire, doesn't have friends, it has permanent interests. Well, Russians operate now specifically in this mode. Obviously, they have kind of friends, but and of course, there is a really serious ally of Russia, in the sense, the ally which proved their, you know, what actually status as the ally, of course, North Korea. But here is a very interesting situation right now, but many people begin to forget. Yeah, Assad government fell. Yeah, this and that. And I was saying this from the get-go. Don't rush to any conclusions. Obviously, there were many shyster, so-called analytical, you know, orgs in the United States and in Russia who were screaming, now it's all over for Russia in Syria. And, you know, they were showing some kind of, you know, footage like, oh yeah, S-300 moves somewhere in, let's say, Latakia. Oh my God, they're withdrawing. No. And here it is. Mr. Putin met the temporary president of Syria today in Moscow. And Syria Shara tells Putin at Kremlin meeting he will respect all past deals with Moscow. Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara told Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday he would honor all past deals struck between this country and Moscow, a pledge suggesting Moscow 2 military bases in Syria are safe. Yeah, they are safe. Russians still operate. I mean, they fly from the Khmeimim air base, naval base in Tartus also. So, I mean, it's how to explain it to people? Don't rush to any conclusions. What you think and your moral indignations or your emotional responses, they do not matter in the matters of military science and applied geopolitics, as it is written by professionals, not by all kinds of people with the degrees in political science, such as it was the issue with obviously the total pseudo-academic delirium by either Kissinger or by Brzezinski, or for that matter, I mean, even Samuel Huntington, the rest of it, all these Mr. Lutwags who talk about geoeconomics and all this, it's all garbage primarily. The cold hard fact of the geopolitics, which I am having the blister on my tongue, is the, well, the military industrial balance, the balance of powers globally. And this is based just specifically on the correlation of forces and means, which of course implies the industrial capability. But yes, I guess, you know, those people in NATO know better than me that obviously Russia's size economy is smaller than Texas. Yeah, I guess. So you cannot fix it. They are basically entrapped. And the only thing which many people have to understand again, what Russians are handling with, for example, this hot air balloon, Trump and the United States, which are a bunch of losers now, and they continue to spread this PR and BS about how cool they are, we can escalate. Beyond Tomahawks, they have nothing. Nothing except for the direct confrontation with Russia. No, I'm not talking about the cruise of those launchers. They will be detected, they will be hunted down and killed, all of them. No, we are talking about the fact that if United States wants to really change the dynamics of the special military operation, they may try to attack Russia directly and then see what happens. Obviously, they will not. They're cowards. They only can do, as it was always the case, hide behind the backs of such cannon fodder as Ukraine. The best proxy combined West ever had, with the exception of Hitler. Of course, Hitler was the biggest and the largest. And so, explaining this to people, yeah, it takes effort. Sometimes you have to, dumb things down. It's nothing wrong with dumbing things down. We all use analogies. We all use all kinds of things to make easier understanding easier for simple people who do not have the background, especially in military, which is a complex science. Military of the 21st century is extremely complex. It's beyond the grasp, for example, of the most American generals of Vietnam era. They do not understand a thing of the technological dimension of that war. They only know that you can launch Tomahawk at something, and that's about it. They do not understand models. They do not understand how the operational planning by real professionals is done. And so as the result, the only thing we constantly are subjected to all these technical, tactical thingies, like this Oshkosh, whatever the hell, XMAF, whatever, like, oh my God, the new thing. No, it's not the new thing. It's the same old system of weapon like Tomahawks, Tomahawk land attack missile. It's just that it will be, oh yeah, we're gonna disperse it. Well, good luck with that. Especially with Russia now launching more and more satellites of the recon nature, which can easily see what is going on there. Apart from the fact that Russians still retain an extremely strong human intelligence assets on the ground in Ukraine. But you cannot explain it to those guys who operate on the Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda, because they have nothing in response. So I had a lot to say today, but this is basically this 30-35 minute limit, so to speak, beyond which people begin to lose attention and concentration. So this is what I wanted to tell you about, at least partially today. And as always, those who like what I do, please subscribe to my channel. And those who can afford, please support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee and too. So that will be it for today, guys. Have a nice rest of the week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.